In this video, I'd like to talk about the process of using Excel to combine two different worksheets in order that you might then export a CSV file that could be uploaded into a tool such as SAS, like the regular SAS program, or SAS Enterprise Miner, or really any statistical program. Now, there are other options than using Excel for combining data and exporting it. For my personal preferences, I would probably use Access, but perhaps the only tool you have available to you is Excel. And so in that case, I'm going to show you how you would do this using the VLOOKUP function. Alright, in this particular data set, I have a list of buildings where people live, and these are student IDs up here. One of the first changes I'll make is I will change this to SID because Excel doesn't like it when you create a CSV file that starts with ID as the very first character set. But it won't matter for this particular page because we won't be exporting this page. However, this page is important because this is a list on this page of student IDs that have lived in a particular building that are coded like this, and you can tell by the years that perhaps the same student lived in, well, there's multiple years worth of data here. This right here is a listing of premature cancellations, and I have student IDs here. Now in this list there are 18,000 or 1,872 records. In this list there's going to be a lot more. There's 5,162. So many of these contracts that took place in living in these buildings did not end in a premature cancellation, but we have over 1,800 premature cancellations here. So what I would like to do is I would like to add in a column here. I'll put it out here because I'm going to build toward this. So did they cancel? And what I'd like to do is I'd like to get a 1 here if they did cancel, and a 0 if they did not cancel, meaning that they completed their stay. And the reason why I'm doing this is I want to see if there's anything related to the building that they stayed in that maybe results in a higher than normal likelihood of canceling. So for example, as I look forward, maybe 50% of people that live in CPL cancel, but only 1% of people that live in COM cancel. And that would be useful for this particular sponsor of the data set. So first thing I'm going to do here is I'll just write the word cancel here, and I'll put the number 1 there, and that will go all the way down for those. And now I have something that I can look up on this page that's useful. So I can go to the ID. If I can match against this ID, reference this column, and if a 1 is there, then we know that the person canceled. So I'm actually going to delete these columns later because I don't need them, but and for this column I'm going to use something called a VLOOKUP, which is short for vertical lookup. And as it says looks for a value in the leftmost column of the table, then returns a value in the same row from a column you specify. So what I want to do is I want to look for this particular value. Well, for now I'm just going to do it for a single row. I want to look for this particular value, which probably has about a 50% chance of being found in the other data set. I want to find, and the next thing says the table array. So what's the table I'm going to be looking in? So I'm going to grab all of this data, Control Shift down, comma, so I wanted to find out, well, in in the canceled sheet within that range of data that's listed there. That's the 4 columns and the 1,872 rows comprised in that particular range. The next thing is, so that's where I'm going to be looking. The next thing I'm going to be doing is indicating the number of the column that the value is that I'm looking for. Now it's going to mess up stuff if I switch back to the sheet, but if I come back over here, it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's column 4 that I'm looking for. And I'm looking for an exact match of the value that was in the first column of the previous sheet. So again, I want to pull back the value. So this 4 means I'm trying to look for I want to retrieve the number that's in this 4th column, or the value. So if I do that, it says NA, meaning not available, and what that means is there was not a match. If I repeat this formula, I made a mistake there because I did not make that range fixed. Okay, so now if I repeat this formula, it'll keep on referring to the same range. And as I scroll down, I see most of the time there's not a match, but sometimes there's a 1, meaning that there is a match. Now, this #NA field is kind of a difficult one to work with, and what I really want is either a 1 or a 0. And so I'm going to type in if NA. It says returns the value you specify if it resolves to NA, otherwise it returns the result of the expression. So if this is NA, then I want to have it be 0. And if this value is not NA, that it'll just do whatever's in that field. So if I click here and go all the way down, I now have a column that's like I want. Now, because this is calculated, I don't really want the calculations in there. So I'm going to copy this whole column of data, and then right here I'm going to paste the values only, so I can see that I've got the data that I wanted. We're good. So with that, I can get rid of these columns. Now I have a data set where this is here's what I want to predict, and I will actually rename this column as target, because that's what SAS Enterprise Miner likes to see is, and maybe I'll call it, like target _C, because it's just to modify that word a little bit. But seeing the word target, SAS Enterprise Miner, upon importing the data, will predict that this is the column that is what we're trying to predict based on the other columns of data. Now from here, I could just do File, Save As, and I could save it as a CSV file. And once I do that, I am done. And I have a set of data that is suitable for saving into Excel, or for importing into SAS Enterprise Miner or other statistical packages for analysis.